Hey guys, Garma again. This time with a review of the 144th scale high-grade Universal Century Zaku 2 Garma Zabi custom from the MSV line. It never appeared in the series because apparently Garma preferred piloting a DOP, probably the worst atmospheric fighter ever, over a Zaku 2, a high-performance killing machine which at the time of its rollout had no equal at all. But enough about Garma's stupidity, and let's talk a little bit more about this machine. The first obvious change from the normal Zaku and also Char Zaku is the color scheme. The light green has now become an orangey brown, and the dark green has now become an even darker green, very, very dark forest green. Then we have a dark gray for the chest, kneecaps, inside of the head, and also bottom of the feet here. Then a lighter gray for the hoses, and also for the joint, accessories, and so on. Let's put this guy out of the way. That's all for colors. And then stickers. The good news is we hardly need any stickers at all. You just get one for the mono eye, and then 4 stickers that go on either side of the arms. And that's all for stickers that we get and also need. So very good job there. Then articulation, it goes up, down, rotates around all the way. And we'll wiggle around a little bit forwards and backwards and will detach. The mono eye does technically move, but it is an incredible pain to remove the head, and well, then once you have it removed you can essentially turn it around all the way. Also, the eye isn't actually molded onto the gray part here either, so you can't just grab a toothpick and nudge it like with the more modern high-grade Zakus. So yeah, what I would recommend is just get it in one position that you really like and then try not to touch it. Believe me, it's a royal pain to get it. First of all, the scalp removed, and then to get it back on without accidentally moving the eye. Then the arms rotate around all the way. The shield here is on a ball joint, so we'll wiggle around, turn around to get out of the way for this here. It goes up on a hinge for about 90 degrees and goes forward significantly on a hinge inside the body. And that's really, really great. Then the arm rotates around below the shoulder, moves at the elbow at one joint, fists wiggle around, will turn around and do everything a ball joint does. Then on the other side, the spike armor does fold out all the way, giving it equal upwards movement, so that's really nice. Then nothing going on at the back, nothing going on at the front, no waist articulation at all. Good news, side skirts do go outwards nicely and front skirts also go forwards nicely. So get forwards articulation nicely like so, backwards about that far, which is also really far, and they go outwards about that far. Then the knees are double jointed, but you're only getting a little bit more than 90 degrees. Then the feet are on the usual crazy Zaku joints, meaning that it's on a hinge. If I can show it, it's at a hinge at the top. In the middle is another hinge, and then finally it connects with a ball joint to a polycap, which is also articulate. So there's really a lot going on with these feet, and sufficient to say they can do pretty much everything you can imagine. Will turn around, do the most incredible things you want to, and then you just gotta get them back into position. So putting them back in there. Also, something that's really great about this kit is it can pull off a kneeling pose rather convincingly, which is something not a lot of the earlier kits could do. Actually, almost none of them, and even modern day kits have a little bit difficulty pulling that off, so that's really nice. And what's especially cool about this is that it does come with an artillery weapon, so it would make a lot of sense to go into a crouching position. And talking about accessories, now let's see what makes this guy different from the other Zakus. The one thing you've probably already noticed is it has Vulcans on the head, and no, it doesn't come with any of the other scalps, it just comes with this one. Then another accessory that's typical for Garma Zaku is a much more ornate, bigger, and overall just plain nicer looking heat hog. You get the same connector piece, and the best news of it all is it actually fits into the hand. That is one of the first Zakus, especially one of the first 144 scale Zakus, that can actually hold the damn heat hog. And also let's do a quick comparison with the normal heat hog, and you will immediately see that this heat hog is way better in every single way. Yeah, the heat hog is suddenly a lot less impressive and a lot less nice too. So let's just put that to the side and store this on the side of the Zaku. Just connect that there and slide it in. There we go. Then the final unique accessory for Garma Zaku 2 is the Magella top cannon. And if you want this, this is really the best way to get it. The only other way to get it is in the Magella Attack twin pack from the X series. And these two are quite literally identical. The only difference is that the one from the Magella Attack is slightly darker. And also that the detail on the Magella Attack one is just a nudge better. Only a tiny little bit. But maybe that's also due to the reuse of this mold, I don't know, but the difference is extremely minor. Another little problem with it is, well, there's a seam line, quite nasty one here, which also means that the barrel is kind of prone to falling out from time to time, especially if you're moving it around a little bit and trying to pose with it. The final problem is that it doesn't really like to fit in the hands all that well. To put it simply, it's quite loose. Fortunately, however, of course, since this is a weapon that he's supposed to hold with two hands, it's not really that noticeable once he's holding on to it. And then it is pretty stable as far as cannon go. And like I said, this is where the kneeling pose really comes into play. Pull him down and he's ready to snipe an enemy. Then of course we also get a few more accessories. The typical Zaku bazooka, handle moves, scope moves, and here we have the other Zaku to demonstrate it. You can of course hold it with both hands. Unfortunately it is a little bit quite loose in the hand, so you'll definitely want to hold it with both hands. The good news is, once you prop it up against the shoulder, it of course sits a lot more solidly. The bad news is, with the Zaku machine gun, it has a movable handle. This one isn't going to move. Clip can be removed if you want to for some reason, but it's a little bit hollow on the inside. Putting that back on there. It's also quite loose. But hey, just like the Zaku bazooka, you can hold it with both hands, and then it at least stabilizes it a little bit. Then one final thing about the Zaku bazooka, say that you don't want to use the Zaku bazooka, or you want it as a spare, whoop, there it goes, then you just clip this down. If it wants to, come on, out you come. Come on, out you. So yeah, as you can see, this is a quite difficult process which sometimes wants to work and sometimes doesn't. And finally, when you do get it out, first thing to do is be very careful that you don't accidentally push it in. Then grab the bazooka, fold up the scope, and push it in there. And hope that it doesn't fall off, because it's not the most solid connection, but it will stay in there. Now, there we go. And then finally, like I said, we also get 2 extra trigger finger hands, which as shown were pretty loose with all of the weapons included. Then one final question that you might have is, since this is the only way to get the Magella top cannon, is it compatible with the newer Zaku style hands? And you'll be pleased to hear that it's pretty much the same story as with Garma's Zaku 2. They don't really fit, as in that they're way too loose, but since you're holding it with both hands, it's actually no problem at all and will sit very tight once you get it into position. There we go. So if you want a Magella top cannon for any one of your newer Zakus, this is probably the way to go. As always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? Well, for 1000 yen, this is a pretty nifty little kit. Of course, the main problem is the old Zaku mold. The head looks a little bit on the goofy side, but if you can forgive that, you're getting a kit that is well articulated and well equipped. And for 1000 yen, you really can't go wrong with this. So even if you just think, hey, that Magella top cannon might look pretty damn good with one of my other Zakus, or if you need a spare bazooka, or if you need an extra machine gun, just for weapons alone, this is probably one of the best equipped Zaku kits out there, not counting the ridiculous Zaku 2000, or F2000, something like that. But I gotta say, it's really nice actually. The Heat Hawk, this is overall also a very good improvement over the normal Zaku. The extras they give you are really nice, and even though the mass production type Zaku has the missile pods, I don't think that they can really compare with the Magella top cannon. Though the irony is, I think that in the series, most of the Zakus that had a Magella top cannon also used the missile pods. Odd. So yeah, overall, if you like the way this kit looks, then you definitely won't be disappointed. And let's not forget, this is also the only way to get Garma Zaku, so you're pretty much stuck with this. But out of the three old Zaku molds, this is by far my favorite. So that's all for this review, and that's not all for this review, because we still gotta do some comparisons. Let's start by having him next to the older, well, the canonically older but technically newer, more model kit wise newer Zaku 1, and well, unfortunately the Zaku 1 is still beta. Then here he's next to the black Zaku 2. And finally, since it's the Zaku, let's put him next to the Zaku 3. Yeah, quite a nice development line we've got going on here. And finally, here he is next to the dom of his BFF. So, that's all for this review, and see you guys next time.